This story is called The Sad and Happy Tale of Mr. Sunflower. There was once a young girl called Emily. Emily lived with her mum and her older brother Tom. Emily liked to play outside and run around with friends and do exciting things like jumping in puddles and playing in the mud and planting things in the garden. Tom thought that sort of thing was boring. One day, Emily's nana came around and gave her a very special gift. It was a seed. A small, stripy seed. A sunflower seed. Emily was very excited about this, and she asked her nana what to do with it. Nana told her to find a nice big pot and some soft brown soil and to plant it, and then to water it and wait. So Emily did just that. She found a nice big pot and she filled it with lots of soft brown soil, and she planted the seed in the soil and watered it. And then she waited. And she waited and waited. And she waited and waited. And quite a long time went by, until one day she could see a little green shoot coming up out of the soil. And then the next day it had grown a little more. And every day it grew some more. And it started to get leaves. And then a head appeared. And then a flower. And one day the flower opened up and smiled at her. It was a beautiful sunflower, and she called it Mr. Sunflower. Mr. Sunflower kept growing, and he grew and grew and stood tall and happy and smiling, with his face always looking up at the sun. And she was so pleased with him that she showed him to everyone. She showed him to her mum and her nana, and they loved Mr. Sunflower. And she showed him to her friends when they came round to play, and they loved him too. And lots of people would walk past her house every day, and they'd see Mr. Sunflower too. And they'd always wave. He made everyone smile as they went on their way to work or school. Tom said Mr. Sunflower was just a boring old plant. But Emily paid no attention, because she loved Mr. Sunflower and didn't care what silly old Tom said. Emily kept watering him and looking after him and making sure he was able to see the sun. All through the summer, Mr. Sunflower stood tall and proud and smiling for weeks and weeks and weeks, making more people happy every day. She even saw Tom waving at him once when he thought no one was looking. But then, one day, Emily noticed Mr. Sunflower wasn't looking up at the sun anymore. And his head started to droop. So Emily kept watering him and talking to him, but it didn't seem to make any difference. And as the days went on, he got droopier and droopier, and looked sadder and sadder. One very sad day, Mr. Sunflower died. Emily was so sad, and her mum and nana were sad too, and her brother Tom was so sad that he cried, but then pretended he just had something in his eye. And all of Emily's friends were sad, and everyone who walked past the house. Mr. Sunflower was definitely dead. But when Emily went up for a closer look, she found he had left her something very special indeed. When she looked very carefully where Mr. Sunflower had been, she found he had left her some seeds. Lots and lots of sunflower seeds. And she knew exactly what that meant. So she gave one to her mum, and one to her nana, and one to all her friends, and when people walked past the house, she gave them a seed. She even gave one to Tom. And the next year, as Emily looked around, in pots and gardens and even at Tom's school, there were lots and lots of Mr. Sunflowers everywhere. This is a sad story, but it's also a happy story. It's a story of new life after death. It's a bit like the story of Jesus, who died but now lives again and can be shared with everyone. I suppose we could call it an Easter story. It's a story of hope. I hope you enjoyed this story and might share it with others. And when you share it, why not give them a sunflower seed and see what happens?